Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and I'm here to help your brand make more sales with email. As a part of my 100 emails in 100 days breakdown challenge, I am breaking down an email from the brand Ancestral supplements today. This email is what I would call a segment email. The purpose of it is to send out to your list, have them self-select some of these options or one of the options, and it actually gives them a tag or a custom property inside of Klaviyo, and then you can use that to actually segment them out into certain groups. The reason this is important for ecom brands, one for ancestral supplements, I'll give them as an example. Their products that they sell actually help people achieve these different outcomes for their health, optimizing overall health, improve sleep and cognition, boosting metabolism, etc. Now, their customers could come back in after they click once and click a different thing and get another property too, which that's not a bad thing. That actually can help some if they go back in and click, but ideally you want them to pick one, and then now you know that's the goal that they're trying to achieve. Once you know what people are moving toward, you can actually sell them things on their way to that path or on their way to that goal along that path. Um, and I think that Ancestral Supplements sending this out is actually a brilliant idea because they have a number of products that help people achieve a number of health in game or goals or states, right? And so knowing what their customers want and why is a huge win, is a huge win for segmenting their list. So, with that being said, I think every ecom business can use some form of this type of segmenting email. And I'm going to break down why here in this video. So, let's go ahead and start with the subject line. The subject line, I actually forwarded this over from a different email account. That's why I blocked out some of these things. But the subject line for this was actually quick question, Chris. So quick question typically comes from a friend or a personal or an individual, right? It comes from an individual, and it's usually, it doesn't sound salesy. It's just like, hey, I've got a quick question for you. The other part of the subject line that I like is it's using the liquid dynamic fields so that you can actually put my name in it. My name was in this, and when I was scrolling through my inbox of about a little over 2 dozen emails unread, I spotted this one. My eyes went to this one almost immediately in the subject line. I clicked on it before I even saw who it was from, and then I saw that it was from Ancestral Supplements, and it was a segmenting email. So subject lines like this, it's not that it's short or long; it's that it sounds personal. It sounds normal. It doesn't sound salesy. It doesn't sound like I'm trying to get something from you. It sounds like I have a question that's going to help you. So yeah, the subject line here, I think different version of this would work too. So, quick question, or can I ask a favor, or would you mind, Chris? Those types of subject lines don't feel intrusive, and they feel like you're asking for something without taking something. You're like, hey, let's have a conversation, as opposed to I want to take your money. So yeah, that's why I like the subject line so much. I'd imagine Ancestral Supplements A/B tested the subject line. If they didn't, then the next time they send this, they'll probably try something else. If this worked well enough, they don't have to change anything; just use the same one. But yeah, so subject line overall A plus. I really like it. Moving down to the email, we have the logo, brand name, and the menu. With this email specifically, I would test removing those items, the logo, the brand name, and the menu, because this is more about getting somebody to click on something, not necessarily about them getting to buy something. Now, I do believe in the philosophy that every email you send should have one goal, one CTA, one focus, one theme, one concept, etc. Keeping the logo and the brand name could probably stay ultimately, but putting the menu items in there might confuse some people. They might click around and not actually get segmented, and not even actually segment themselves through the email like you want them to. So you want to funnel people into the options you want them to take, and if they don't take those, then that's a signal just as much as them taking an option, right? So not making a choice is a choice. And that's what you want to do with this email, is you're trying to segment out their in-game or their desires or what they want to achieve with their health. And once you know that, then you can help them along the path with your products to that goal, that stage of that end game, right? So I would test removing this section here, the header. Test maybe leaving the logo and the name in, but definitely test removing the menu and seeing if that gets you more clicks on these segments, and more engagement on these segments to self-select and self-segment. Next piece here is just the lead up to the actual selection, these links. I'm going to go ahead and read this email. It is short, but I'm going to read through and talk through each piece just to understand what's going on. So, hey, Chris, personal, so I got my name right. Mind answering a quick question to help us out? So one, Ancestral Supplements not saying we need your answer. They're saying, can you help us out? So instead of trying to say we're going to take something from you, we're going to ask that you give us something. That's two different frames, right? Sales is all about framing. It's all about how you frame up the conversation before it happens, while it's happening, and after. That frame matters. This question frames up the email by saying, hey, would you mind helping us out? We're asking for a favor. Not give me your money. We're trying to sell you something. You should buy this because we said so. There's a totally different way of approaching this email, right? Next line, which of the following are you most interested in? Now, this is cueing somebody's mind to think, okay, what am I interested in? Doesn't mean I'm going to commit. It doesn't mean I'm committed to something. It doesn't mean I'm going to choose something. It's just, what are you interested in? What's on your mind? What do you find curious? What are you looking at? What are you looking forward to? What are you most interested in is a soft way of getting people to think about something without telling them they have to think about it, right? It's very soft, very conversational. So I like this question. It's 2 questions in a row so far, right? Like, hey, mind answering a question help us out. Hey, yeah, I'll help them out. Yeah, it's just an email, whatever. I'm curious. I want to see what this says. Which of the following you're most interested in? Oh, you're asking about me? Wait, you're asking me to help you out, but now you're asking me about something. You want to know more about me? Oh, that feels good. I'll tell you what I'm interested in. Sure. So that little thought process there is you kind of flip that, right? It's almost a contrast. It's like, help us out, but we want to know about you. It gets the brain thinking, right? That contrast creates a signal in the brain saying, hey, something isn't what it's supposed to be here. They asked for help, but they didn't ask for anything. They didn't ask something from you. They asked for you to talk about yourself. That there's a difference there. There's a disconnect, and that's on purpose, right? And it causes friction in the brain. The brain's going, "Oh, I have to pay attention. What is this? It's interesting." Um, Next line here. Please click your answer below, and we'll show you the number one recommended product choice for your selection. Um, so something's interesting here is, will you help us out? What are you most interested in? So they're pre-framing, they're priming, the pre-framing by asking for help. They're priming by saying, what are you most interested in? So you're already thinking, okay, I'm going to have to make a choice here. It's coming. And then please click the answer below and we'll show you the number one recommended product choice for your selection. So these links are actually linked out, I would imagine. I actually didn't click through them to get segmented because I had to take a PDF and get this thing downloaded. I'll have to go back and click. But it would be smart that these links are actually linked to specific products, which would be great, because not only do you get to click on the link, right? So you can segment and you can tag people, but also you get them shopping your products because, yep, I want to optimize my overall health, or yes, I want better skin health, or yes, I want improved joint and bone health. They click on that and they get shown a product and say, oh, this actually does that. That's interesting. And you probably get some purchases out of it, right? But not only do you get them segmented, but you also get sales. And it's pre-framed. It's pre-framed to ask for help. You prime them by saying, what are you most interested in? And then you ask them to select something to help you out, right? And once they select, you can tag them and you can show them products. It's perfect, right? That's a great way of segmenting your list. And it doesn't come off as taking from them. You're asking them to give you something, which is a totally different way of looking at it. And then once somebody clicks, they get taken to the site, and that is what it is, and they get tagged and put into a segment. The rest of the email, if they read the rest of this, says click your answer above and let us know. So they reiterate and restate the CTA, which was above the items and below now. And then this was interesting, is they wrote, thanks for voting. So if you think about it, the word vote has a lot more weight than choosing or selecting or sharing. Choosing, selecting, sharing are all personal. It's about me. It's individual. Nobody else will know that I selected this. But if you say thanks for voting, voting carries weight. Voting implies that this is going to be used to affect more than just you. It's more public, right? It's a public venture to vote on something, like with elections and politics and maybe HOA stuff or council of some kind. It's voting. It's a public show of what you choose. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but it gives weight to what people select because it shows that this may be used publicly and it may be used to make decisions about you and or the market or the list in general without actually saying that. So the word voting, I think, is intentional, and I noticed that, and it carries weight. So even a word, changing that from voting to selection or voting to choice, could actually increase or decrease your click on each of these on any one given link for a reader. So that's something I would maybe test and maybe look into. If you are writing like thanks for voting, maybe try something else and see if it affects click rates. Then you have your sign off, the Ancestral Supplements Tribe. You got your socials, the brand logo and name, their mission statement, which some brands, not many, but some brands actually put this down here of what their mission statement is. There's 2 or 3 I can think of right now that actually do this. Many don't, some do. It could be something that you would add to your footer or just below everything, just to remind people why you're doing what you're doing and what's going on and why you're in their inbox. Then you have the rest of the footer information here. Cool. So yeah, when it comes to segmenting your list, this is one way you can do it. And it's actually pretty effective. You're not going to get everybody to click. They're not everybody's going to open. Not everybody's going to click. And then, but the people that do, now you have more specific information on them about what they're trying to achieve, what products they could potentially use to get there, and then how you fit into their life, helping them get to that goal with their health or whatever the goal is, right? So for Ancestral supplements, it's supplements, it's for health, it's in the health and wellness space. So they're offering products and supplements for their customers on the path, on the way to their goals. And this email helps them segment out their list so they can actually be more personalized, more specific, and get the right message to the right person at the right time based on where they're at with their goals and with their health. So, with that being said, that's this breakdown. The two big things here: one is using email, sending emails to actually segment your list. Have the list self-segment. That's the one big thing. You can every single e-com brand can find a way to use this style of email. And where to use it, you can either put it in the welcome series. You can send it out once a month manually. You can set up an automation, say every 30 days, anybody new sign up to the list can get this email. You can do different ways to send this out, but I do think you should add this to your arsenal when it comes to automations or just sending emails, because that big insight of if they're self-segmenting and telling you what they want, then you can just give them what they want and they'll buy, or they'll be more likely to buy and they'll come back and buy later. But you're actually selling into what they want to achieve, as opposed to just guessing and saying, hey, does this supplement work? Does this supplement work? Does this supplement work? In the sense of, will they buy it? Once you know exactly what they're trying to achieve, you can give them the products that will help them get there, which is way easier to sell than just randomly offering them stuff because they visited the site for 30 seconds. That I would say is the one big insight for this email: is give your list an opportunity to self-segment and then use that information to help them achieve their goals with your products. Cool. With that being said, I've got other videos on my YouTube channel. Go check those out. Go pull the insights. Go use those to make your brand more sales with email. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one.